You are listening to the Retina UK National Peer Support Group Spring Meeting, recorded Tuesday, the 25th of March, 2025.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mark Baxter, and welcome to our Spring National Peer Support Group meeting for Retina UK. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. Our National Peer Support Group meetings, we run 4 times a year. With this one being the spring, we will also have another one in June for the summer, and then towards the end of September for our and then we will be rejoining with a winter meeting in January 2026. So if anybody is interested in a National Peer Support Group meeting, please do let us know, and we'll ensure that you are kept up to date and added to our mailing list with all speaker information and what we are going to be talking about. So thanks again for everybody joining us. To my right is Caroline. She will be assisting me with the comms and helping me ask any questions, and also help me if anybody does wish to put their hand up and ask a question after. So if people did join us back in the summer of 2022, you will know that we had a fantastic organisation join us called AbleNet. And returning to speak about what has been going on at AbleNet over the last 2 years is Paul Ashurst, the founder of AbleNet, and he's going to talk about a little bit more about what's going on and how you at Retina UK can get involved. So thank you so much again for joining us, Paul. Over to you.
Bill, thank you, Mark. Firstly, thank you for inviting me again to share my story and the vision behind AbleNet.co.uk. Before I start, I'd just like to say I have the privilege of working with various charities and support services across the UK, but the passion and commitment of the Retina UK team, especially Mark Baxter and Amelia Burton, really stand out. Their dedication and supporting individuals and advancing research in inherited sight loss is remarkable. But here's a little bit of a story behind AbleNet. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at 35. At first, life carried on almost unchanged, but as my condition progressed, I faced new challenges. Let me just take you back to a defining moment in my life and AbleNet's life, really. If you can picture me at Liverpool Arena with my daughter's school science project, and I'm determined to go and support her as much as I can. And despite my growing challenges with MS, I got there, but reality hit hard that day as I struggled to walk back to the car, leaving me feeling quite vulnerable and really embarrassed in front of Madison and all her school friends. They didn't care at all, in fact. They had no idea what was going on. They in the slightest weren't bothered, and Madison said she didn't even notice. That was true. Anyway, it was at that moment I realized something profound. A wheelchair or any disability or visual impairment wasn't a limitation. It was just a gateway to reclaiming life for me. That revelation sent me onto a path to embrace new adventures, but I quickly found the accessible experiences weren't just hard to come by, they were more or less impossible and certainly non-existent to find. And I'm pretty good on a PC. So as a search for activities tailored to people with disabilities or visual impairments, the options were really unsurprising. Determined to change the narrative, I called the major experience providers Virgin Experience Days, Buy a Gift, Red Letter Days, asking what they offered for individuals like me. The answer unanimously was, we have nothing, but we're sorry. But no has never been an acceptable answer for me. With 14 million plus disabled and visually impaired individuals in the UK alone, I saw an opportunity to create something extraordinary, something inclusive, exhilarating and transformative. Thus, AbleNet.co.uk was born, starting with one ambition, and that was an ambitious goal, but that was to offer supercar experiences to everyone, because that was really started at the top. Convincing supercar companies to let disabled or visually impaired individuals drive their £150,000 sports cars really wasn't easy. In fact, all said, no, outright. But persistence paid off. and a chance meeting with a supercar instructor at a music festival led to a breakthrough in conversation, because he said there was no reason why the adaptations couldn't be made. And I was talking about supercar driving for disabled and blind people. So I picked up the phone again and started calling all the companies again. And as luck had it, my second call was answered by someone who was just walking past the phone when it rang, and he turned out to be one of the company directors. And after a little bit of conversation, a little bit of saying it can be done, he invited me down to their offices to have a chat what could be done. We discussed adaptations for the disabled and drivers with visual impairments, and he was absolutely committed to making this happen. Today, AbleNet.co.uk proudly partners with all major supercar suppliers, offering thrill-seeking self-drives and passenger experiences. Imagine the freedom and the adrenaline and the joy of driving a Lamborghini at 100 miles an hour, even if you're visually impaired or disabled. Now, some of you are asking, how can someone with a visual impairment drive a Lamborghini or Ferrari when the DVLA and everyone else says you can't? It's quite easy. The tracks are 1.5 miles long, there's plenty of runoff space, and there's an instructor by the side of you with a foot brake. One participant, Mark, completed his exhilarating drive with his guide dog waiting for him patiently on the tarmac. Our mission didn't stop at supercars. AbleNet.co.uk now offers a range of experiences, including flying lessons, skiing, archery, parachuting, four-wheel drives, driving, and much more. And these aren't watered down activities. They're real high energy instances of driving and fun designed to push boundaries. Fast forward several years, and AbleNet.co.uk really has blossomed, offers a growing range of incredible experiences on our website. Along the way, I realised the best way to truly support charities and their members was to launch an Inspired Partners programme. This concept was born from the tireless efforts of remarkable organisations, those who have dedicated teams to create support networks and empower individuals to see that life doesn't stop with visual impairment or disability. One standout example is definitely Retina UK. And from my initial conversations with Mark Baxter, their team's enthusiasm and commitment shone brightly. Launching our partnership and creating tailor-made products together felt seamless, an inspiring collaboration from start to finish. But the Inspired Partners Programme is a select group, and for each one we develop a suite of products that embody our shared mission. For each Retina UK branded product bought and used using the code RETINA2025, every purchase unlocks a discount for you and crucially financially gives back to Retina UK's invaluable work. It's a true win-win, thrilling, inclusive experience while saving money and giving back to Retina UK. So what exciting experiences have we started with? Obviously, supercar drives and passenger rides for adults and juniors, breathtaking speed in legendary cars, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, McLarens. Flying lessons, where you truly take the controls, learning to fly and having a lesson, or just going on a sightseeing tour. Skiing adventures, offering the thrill of the snow, tailored to your needs and pace. But that's just the beginning. AbleNet.co.uk is gearing up to launch even more inspired partner experiences with Retina UK soon, such as the 4x4 driving I mentioned, archery, parachuting, and other adrenaline-filled activities. The possibilities really are endless for us, ensuring fun and empowerment for everyone, all while supporting Retina UK. At AbleNet, we believe that the experiences we share have the power to break barriers and redefine what's possible. Explore our Inspired Partners page and join us in making life-changing adventures accessible to all. Visit ablenet.co.uk/RetinaUK and use the code RETINA2025 to embark on unforgettable experiences whilst contributing to Retina UK's vital work. Life doesn't stop with a disability or visual impairment. It really is just the beginning of a different adventure. AbleNet.uk is here to help those adventures become accessible to everybody. Thank you for your time. Please, any questions you may have, or who's ready for a Lamborghini drive?
Thank you so much, Paul, for that an amazing presentation, and thank you so much for partnership with Retina UK. It is absolutely amazing that we can bring these adrenaline-filled and just adventurous experiences to our community. You can also check out our webpage on retinauk.org.uk, and I think it's /, and then it's just experience days. Have a little look at what experiences you can take part in. You know, if you've got a special birthday or a celebration, you know, that you would love to do, we've opened it out to friends and family as well that want to help raise the awareness. And also, if you wanted to do it as a fundraising challenge, all of these activities are right at your fingertips, you know. And for more information, you can contact AbleNet, or you can speak to our team at Retina UK that can give you a little bit more information as well. Is there any questions that you have for Paul?
Yeah, so we've got Perm first and then Sharon.
So over to you, Perm.
Sorry.
Hi, sorry, I've just been picking. Excuse me. I have a question. Sorry, I didn't catch your name. I do apologise.
It's all right.
Bill. Paul, sorry. Paul, you do 4x4s. What make and model are they?
Land Rover Discoveries is
Yeah.
where most of them. One or two of the sites have a Defender, but most of the Discoveries, I think they're the ones they all pick.
Do you do the old minis?
No.
Oh.
No, I've not seen one. I'm saying no. I'm shaking my head no. I've not seen one.
Well, my
It's,
first car was a traditional Mini, cobalt blue,
mhm.
and with a walnut dash. So if there is one similar, I'd love to do a challenge. And I'm saying
Yeah.
it live here, so I don't know what I'm getting myself in for, but 4x4, definitely, yeah. I wanted to do this for a long time, and yeah, so count me in.
I'm going to write down Mini. I can't guarantee, and I'll come back via Mark.
Or
and
even a Jeep, if it's like I'm a 4x4 person, so yeah, definitely Land Rover, yeah, all the way.
Cool. I will do.
Thank you.
Really see many old Mini Coopers and Mayfairs on the road anymore, do you? You know.
No. It's
You know, to get the shell cost £20,000, just the shell of the car. Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? I should have kept my old Mini.
Oh God, yeah.
Which was a T-Reg, the old T-Reg car. I paid £500 for it before I passed my test. I had the car before I had the... I had it for ages. It was beautiful. It always got stuck. The choke, everything. I miss it. I really miss
Choke.
Choke.
I was very young when I passed my test. Thank you.
No worries, Perm. Thanks
No
very
worries.
much. We've got Sharon, another question. Over to you, Sharon.
Hi, thanks, Paul. Is there anything in Scotland to be able to do the drive-in? Because driving is a thing I've never ever been able to do. Well, not legally anyway. I'm just wondering, is there any venues in Scotland that do it, apart from, I know that in Scotland we have Young Driver and they quite often have the fire engine and things like that. And I think when I asked them, they actually were quite up for me having a shot off the fire engine, what I can remember, because it was a dual control fire engine anyway, so it was the same as the kids going out in the Young Driver. So I'm just wondering, is there anything in Scotland?
Yeah, we struggle with Scotland. Actually, I saying that, I've just brought on a lass that's from Scotland, that's from Aberdeen, and she's trying to expand into Scotland. The problem with, certainly on the supercars, is we have our units, our events are quite unique, so we only get so many days.
Yeah,
we fill the days, and when we go north of York, really the numbers drop off quite significantly. So that's the problem. Is that I'm not sure. I think it's Loch Eithne. I think we do truck driving up in Scotland. There's a track up in Scotland. We do HGV driving, HGV driving. But again, I'll check on that. The 4x4s, it would be a group. And again, the company that we deal with on the 4x4, they've got a track up in Scotland, but we haven't added it to our experiences yet.
Okay.
but I can check. It's just a question, isn't it? I can do that, not a problem. Again, I'll come back to Mark on it.
Yeah, because I think the fire engine they do at Ingliston, well, what's the Highland Centre just outside Edinburgh, Ingliston. That's where they still do the fire engines, and they do have other various bits and pieces, but they definitely have a dual controlled fire engine there. And that's one of these things. It's on my list, but then you just never get around to your list, do you?
Yeah. See, none of our cars, or the supercars, or even the HGVs, aren't dual control. They've only got a brake. And the cost of obviously changing a Lamborghini to be dual control.
Oh yeah. Huge.
And also, I don't think they'd be allowed to. But I can certainly look, because unless people need dual controls, I can look and I can see. We have a charity that we deal with, and they have some kit cars, and I'm fairly sure they go to Scotland. Whereabouts in Scotland are you, Sharon?
Just about 15 miles north of Edinburgh, so on the east coast. So that's what I'm saying. I know Ingliston definitely do bits and pieces. And that's where they do the young driver, and they do it in various shopping centres as well in Scotland, the young driver. But that's Ingliston's an actual mile and a half actual track of roads. Yeah. The other place they may do it actually for the supercars might be Knockhill. I bet you it's Knockhill they actually do it, which again is only about 20 miles from where I actually am. But that's probably where it is. Yeah. One place, and it wasn't me actually driving, and just in case anybody's interested in Scotland. Crieff Hydro, which is just slightly north of Perth. A couple of years ago, they have an outdoor activity centre, which is actually very good. And they actually have dual quads. So somebody drives the quad, but you get to sit on the quad. And that was actually very, very good. So again, people coming to Scotland if you're looking for something like that. And the guy was absolutely amazing. So he had to lead the group with the rest of the sighted people. And just so happened to be a visually impaired customer. So they were really, they made that accessible to me, well, in its own way, if you know what I mean. So it's just, sometimes it's just asking people, isn't it?
Yeah, and certainly a lot of what I found, and a lot of people, certainly the companies initially, before we got the supercars on board, a lot of the companies I spoke to just didn't feel that it was possible to make those changes. Yeah. And certainly with visual impairment, there's less I mean, I'm in a wheelchair, so there's less changes for somebody who's visually impaired than somebody who's disabled. Generally, it just seems to be sort of a bit more instruction and things like that, and a bit more assistance that way. But but once you have a chat with these companies and say, it's really not that difficult, then they tend to sort of open up a little bit more. Because I think certainly the suppliers I've ever spoke to, the vast majority want to do something. They want to help, just they don't know how to, or insurance and things like this, or they don't want to insult people. I mean, that's why you see people like Virgin Experience Days, Buy a Gift, Track Days, they all come back through AbleNet now. So if you go to Virgin and say, I want to drive a supercar and I'm visually impaired, then you end up with AbleNet. Right, because again, people like Virgin don't want to really upset people. They don't want to, really cause issues with customers and things like that. And I think certainly, and I've realized, once you've got a disability, whether it be disability, wheelchair disability, VI disability, death, or mental incapacity, you tend to understand and you can talk to people slightly differently because they realize you're not actually insulting them if you say something a bit dumb. It just means you've said something dumb, not because you're being rude or whatever sort of thing, And we all have difference. We're all disabled one way different than the other sort of thing. So,
that's fine. Thanks very much for your answer. Thank you.
No problem. But I'll come back to you via Mark. I'll come back to you if you give me a day or so, Sharon. I'll come back to you.
Thank you.
We'll pop all this information to a follow-up. Thanks, Sharon. We've got Kim next, and then after Kim, we've got Colin as well. So start with you, Kim. What's your question for Paul?
Thanks, Mark. Paul, hi. Well, first of all, amazing work you've been doing. It's so good to hear my mum's in a wheelchair, so I just think what you're doing is amazing. Paul, seriously, it's good. But Paul, I actually was given a gift for my birthday so that I could drive a supercar. But when I got there, and I'm in Northern Ireland, when I got there, they wouldn't hear of it because I didn't have a valid license. Do you think that you could also target some of these chaps over here? Because I would adore to drive like a dual car.
Yeah, we touched on Northern Ireland. We have quite a few people that fly over from Northern Ireland because you certainly as in conversation with them, I don't know. I've never noticed it. I've only been there a couple of times, but never noticed. But they said they're 2 or 3 steps behind on the disability and VI side. You know, the companies over there are slightly less open to the conversations. Let's put it this way. But I did speak to one of the race circuits back then when they were there, and they just weren't really interested, to be honest, was the word. It's sort of whether it was because I don't know, to be honest. I didn't push it any further. We were there on a track day with the guys that tried to go there, similar to yourself, really. But yeah, we just get more people just fly over, and which is not cheap in the slightest. I realise that, but we do get a lot of people from Northern Ireland. For that reason, and that's a part of the problem is that they're not aware. You know, people buy vouchers and aren't aware that a lot of companies just won't do this, and we get a lot of people turned down in all our. You know, we find out a lot of people that have been turned down for various reasons with different suppliers, or that we've never dealt with, and things like that, and which is a shame. But I'm happy to go back and have another chat with them again. Not a problem. Is it a particular which track was it?
It was called Supercars, and it was it was close to a market. I can tell Mark, and I can get the name of the company, but I would adore you to go back because they need to change, because they were also their attitude towards me was I'm visually impaired, and they didn't seem phased in the least. Like it just was, stand over there, and it wasn't great. It wasn't a great experience. So I would really love you to contact them again.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind. Thank you, Paul.
Yes, it's a I mean, all our days are just for AbleNet customers, so all our supercar days. So it's all inclusive. Someone's got an issue, a disability, or a visual impairment one way or another, and we've got loads of time. Whereas on the able-bodied days, you just haven't got any time whatsoever. They just, as you say, and I think whether you were VI or able-bodied, they'd still shove you in a corner. They treat their customers on able-bodied days shockingly.
I felt that, but I'm going to find out the name. But I'm going to come over to your side of the pond and have an experience. Thanks, Paul. So much.
A pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kim. Colin, what's your question, buddy?
Hi, Paul. I think I've spoke to you before, Paul.
Possibly.
Yeah, with regards to Scotland, I think I set it up with you last year to bring the caterhams up to, I think it was about Falkirk. We did it through Deafblind Scotland. I was actually penciled in for doing it that day. Unfortunately, my dad was very ill in hospital and I never got to come. So I set it up for everybody else. and the feedback was tremendous. I was kicking myself severely that day. But yeah, I'd love you to come back to Scotland. The 4x4 sounds excellent.
Yeah. Was that Speed of Sights that you did it with?
Because I think it was.
Or Kit Caterhams, aren't there? Kit Caterhams, John and Mike up there.
Yeah.
But they're not coming back. Are they not due to come back to you, Colin?
I don't know. I've very much left it in the hands of the bosses because I was stuck in hospital with my dad at the time. But I couldn't really. Driving is a passion that I lost.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to do it again. So I was really annoyed at the fact. But you're opening doors. The 4x4 sounds fantastic. The trucks sound amazing.
Yeah.
So I think I need to get on your list somewhere along the line. Get on with it.
Yeah. Well, we'll be adding HGVs very soon. Actually, that can happen quite quickly to the Retina UK products that we're creating. So that's quite easy. And it's a proper truck. It's a transporter. It's the trucks they take all the supercars to the tracks with. So they just get used. So it's quite good fun.
Yeah, I'm into that big time.
I'll check.
You could just leave me there for a week. I think I'll be happy.
Thank you, Colin. Thanks, Colin.
Thanks, Colin.
John with his hands up now.
Yeah, hi everyone. Just to say, last year for my birthday, I went on one of Paul's driving experiences. It was a brilliant day out, so I thoroughly recommend it. And I drove an Aston Martin and a Lamborghini. Truck the HGVs sound good, but Paul, what I've always fancied is a double-decker bus on a skid pad. You got any of those?
Yeah, we've done drifting. We've got drifting now available in or VI drifting. Again, it's sort of you can't drift if you've got a disability. The hand controls don't work, but we do drifting now, and again, we can add that quite comfortably. He's in, where are they now? In York and Dunsfold. Where did you do your drive, John?
Dunsfold, down in Surrey, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Dunsfold,
so Top Gear runway, isn't it, that we're on there?
Yeah.
I'm glad you had a good time. But yes,
that's great. It's a great day. Yeah, I'll definitely recommend it. It's good fun.
Fantastic. Thank you, John.
Pleasure.
No. Well, for the people that don't know, for my 40th a couple of years ago, I was got a flying experience through AbleNet, and I think that's how me and Paul actually first met and started chatting. And again, if anyone wants to go from wheels to wings. Again, it was an amazing experience to actually stay in a plane from it actually when it leaves the runway to when it actually lands, rather than actually getting to 15,000 feet and fly myself out of it, which is usually what I do when it comes to air travel. But to actually have a go and be in that pilot seat was an amazing thrill, and I took my cousin up with me as well. The pilot instructor was incredible, patient, literally just grabbed my hand and said, right, this is your throttle, this is where your hands go, this is all the controls. He just told me where everything was. It was a lot to remember, but it was still just an amazing experience, and it's something that I'll capture forever. So these experience days, allow us to keep those memories alive and keep us doing things that we've never done before, or it's something specifically with progressive cycling, something we may have lost that we want to recapture. So it's definitely worth having a go at one of these experience days, and like I say, check out the ablenet.co.uk website, or jump on to retinauk.org.uk via our shop and just click on the experience days to find out more.
And if you've got anything else, or there's something that you want to know, for instance, the Mini or whatever, let me know, or let me know via Mark, and and we'll see. Because again, we're always growing, but we're always growing based on ideas of companies that come to me or companies that I go to, rather than sort of necessarily people that have got ideas that they want to do. And so we're always listening, and we're always trying to persuade people or companies that they need to do things differently, and hopefully we'll get them there.
Do you do helicopter lessons, Paul?
No, we did helicopter. We started with helicopter, and the law changed. This was very early after the supercars. Long story, but the supercar director that I spoke to, he's got a pilot's license, helicopter license. So he put us in contact with the helicopter company, and we started off using those, but they had to stop because if you're disabled or wheelchair related, if you're in a wheelchair, they have to physically stop the rotors before you can get in. And they just said it was just it's too expensive for them. So we dropped both, to be honest. It wouldn't be difficult really to resurrect it on the VI side, because I think the company's splitting slightly. There's some experiences that you can do if you've got sight, and there's some experiences that you can do if you've no sight but you're not disabled, if that makes any sense. Like the 4-wheel drive, 4x4 driving, if you're disabled, you can't do it. They won't have any hand controls or anything for us. But if you're VI, then we can do it. And things like that. So it's slightly changing. So my thing a couple of years ago was always, if you couldn't do it for one disability, we're not going to put it on the books, but now sort of change that a little bit, because there are some, unfortunately, I'll never be able to do, certain things. I've just got to accept that. But why should I stop other people, and vice versa, working on other experiences. So yeah, I think the helicopters, in fact, I've still got, can't remember, I think it's Neil actually. I've still got their details, so I can probably look to getting those added on fairly quickly, because it's the cost, you see. Ballooning is another one. We didn't do ballooning because there's only one basket in the UK that you can get a wheelchair into, because it's CAA regulations, it's flying regulations, and you have to be able to exit. There has to be an exit from the basket. And if you're in a wheelchair, you have to have a wheelchair basket with a proper drop-down door. Whereas if you're blind or VI, they just climb over the edge, and things like that. So the CAA regulations are quite different. So again, that's something we can quite quickly get up and running. Or that sort of thing. But if there's anything else or whatever, any other things, any other ideas, let us know. Send us something in. AbleNet's growing. We're in a great place, and certainly working with true partners like Retina UK is certainly going to help them and us and you, sort of thing, to do a real good job.
That's amazing. Thank you very much. Does anyone have any? We don't have any hands up or comments in the comments box. Has anybody got a question that you'd like to just throw open to Paul? The floor's yours.
Paul, what's the sort of price range?
Supercars or everything. Well, so the price range is on supercars, because you'll get a discount off the price. So, but our headline price on supercars starts at 115. That's not changed for a couple of years now. But again, you'll get a discount off that, and Retina UK will get some money off that. But I'm just talking about headline prices there. The four-wheel drives, I think, are going to be £35 per person. But they're going to be, I think it's a minimum 4 people that we need at any one time on that. Parachuting is not cheap, but that's £300 or £400 or £300, I think, 370, something like that. On that, I haven't got the detail of that. Again, that's new. Bungee jumping, you can bungee jump. Bungee jump's a new good one that we've added. Yeah. We're not selling many though, I've got to be honest. Mark's you've probably done it, Mark, haven't you?
I have. I've done 2. So again, it's everyone. You guys must think I'm bonkers. Again, it was a fantastic experience, and again, I did mine around Windsor, wasn't it? And it was an amazing experience. And again, they were. It wasn't through AbleNet, but I just wanted to do a bungee jump, so I just kind of went to the nearest bungee jump centre to me. It was 300 foot. It was off a crane, and I loved every bit of it. They guided me to the crane. They gave me every single instruction I needed. They were just on the ball, and I, again, thoroughly enjoyed it. But bungee jumping is not everyone's cup of tea. You've got to have a nerve. It's a little bit different than a skydive, because you're strapped to someone, and when they go, you go. When you're 300 feet up, over a lake, and it's you that has got to jump, and only you, it takes a little bit of different nerve. But again, it was just an amazing way of feeling alive. And I've got that memory of that jump, that'll always stay with me. So it's like I say, not everyone's cup of tea, but it was a thrill-seeking experience for myself. I loved it. But we've got Steve. Steve's got a question.
Yeah, my youngest daughter took her daughter to a place called Diggerland, and they've done some digging and dumper driving and that sort of thing. Is there anything like that on your books at all?
We've got not a Diggerland, but our four-wheel drive partner. I know they've got JCBs that we can drive, or that we can do. I don't know how popular, but it's not a Diggerland where there's various options, but there's JCBs that you can drive, definitely so. Yeah, with that, no problem whatsoever. That it, yeah. I think we're looking at. I've had a conversation yesterday from a go-kart company, and they've got a 2-person kart. So we're discussing the options on that. Really, is about whether we can have that available to people with VI as well, which would be nice to have on. But again, that's just the size of carts really that makes karting more or less impossible unless you've got a 2-seater cart and they just happen to have one. So that's doable. But the Diggerland, but yeah, I can have a look at the Diggerland. But the diggers that we have, or the JCB that we can use, is in Midlands. I think it's in East Midlands. I think it is. But yeah, it's
Diggerland in Kent, and I think there's one in Somerset as well.
Right.
If it's worth approaching them, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yes. Thank you. It's only a call, isn't it? It's only the time it takes me to send an email and make a phone call.
I think there's a Diggerland in Durham-ish area, that kind of area on the East Coast. Well, there certainly used to be one. Yeah, I think it's maybe slightly further south than Durham. Certainly used to be one there.
Oh, cool. Thank you. I should contact them. Thanks very much.
It's Paul here.
You're right, Paul. The other Paul.
Yeah, I had problems getting on before. It wouldn't connect. Oh, there's something's going. Anyway, I've driven a car. I had to go with that many years ago. What I'd love to have a go at, and I've often thought about this. I'm into me sailing boats. I would love to have a go at driving a motorboat or a speedboat or something. Because it's quite, when you're going quite fast, you can't feel it. I've been on one before, and it's really it's quite it goes quite choppy and up and down. It's just amazing. I thought, is there anything you could recommend? Or
we've got a company they've got boats around the country, and we've put a few people there. What they didn't want us to do was flood them with business. That's where so we do want sort of one-offs. So they tend to be booked up most of the year. But I'll chat to them. I've never. I mean, that's on disabled. We've had many people go out and disabled drives. I can't see the reason why you can't do a VI driving a motorboat. It's, I mean, they're not. What they're not is the boats aren't necessarily sort of these cigarette type speedboats. They're quite a powerful boat, but it'll have 5 or 6 people on it, of which people take it in turns to drive. But I can find out that and see and have a chat with them, Paul. Whereabouts are you, Paul?
I live in Merseyside.
I'll chat. I'll speak to Jeff about it and see. And again, I'll come back via Mark, or if you give Mark your details or whatever, then I can come back to you. But yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, no, brilliant. We can sort that out. Thanks, Paul, for sorting that out, and thanks, Paul, for your question. We've got Sharon that's got a question again. Hi, Sharon.
Hiya. No, I was just going to follow on what Paul was asking from Merseyside about the speedboat. I'm pretty certain that at Port Edgar Marina in South Queensferry, just in case you're ever up in Scotland, I'm sure they have done days for disabled people and visually impaired people and blind people have been able to drive speedboats. Just that might just be another contact for you, and just in case Paul's up in Scotland to make contact with them. I'm sure it's Port Edgar Marina.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
I mean, I am with a UK, a local sailing group, but it's never been brought up. But again, it might be. Do you know what I mean? It might not be allowed, or I've never heard of anyone asking for that. But I'll have to inquire.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I suppose if people haven't asked,
I'll ask there. But I don't know. It's really it's a bit like being on a fairground. It's quite Oh, it's amazing. Because when you speed up, you get the is it the backdraft? I think, or something, or the water. You get more waves, and oh, it's just amazing.
There is just following on from that, Paul. There is an experience. If anyone does live around the London area, there's something called the Thames Rib Challenge experience, and I can never remember what pier. It's London Pier, isn't it? Tower Pier. It goes from Tower Pier in London, and it's like a tour boat, and it's about 12 seats on the boat, and it is a speedboat, and it gets up to about 50 knots. It was quite fast for such a large boat. And they do a little bit of a sightseeing audio described tour, which I thought was really good. It was not necessarily full of visually impaired, but they were very descriptive on some of the sites that they were talking about. And then they literally just open the throttle and they actually zoom down the Thames all the way down to the Thames barrier. They do like a really quick 180. Everybody gets soaked, and then they floor it back. And again, I know where you're coming from, Paul. The experience of being in a fast car to the difference between in a fast boat, it's a completely different experience because the boat is going side to side. You've got the spray of the waves, the noise.
Really up and down.
It's
really up and down.
Yeah, if you get motion sickness, it's probably not for you, but you get a full sensory experience from a boat experience. So, if you are London based, definitely check out. And I don't know, Paul, whether that's an organisation you would be interested in contacting.
I give them a call. Again, they were one of the companies years ago when we started AbleNet. When I started AbleNet, they were one of the ones.
Oh, sorry.
But one of the experiences that we looked at, but again, they looked at doing it on the VI because for them it's easy in and out, isn't it? It's not a problem. And on the wheelchairs or disabled, they got a bit sort of standoffish sort of thing. Even if somebody had walking sticks or whatever, they got a bit sort of standoffish about it.
That's such a shame.
But again, on my new sort of idea about opening up to different and having then it's just a call because I've got the guy's details, so I can give him a call. But thanks for that. Great suggestion, actually. It's and they are quick. It's because they have one at Llandudno. I've noticed off the beach there at Llandudno, they have one of the same thing. Yeah.
Well, I went on one. It was a similar thing. What Mark was on about describing. It was along the Menai Straits, and it was one end to the other, showing you going around Pufford Island. It was one day we were away sailing up there, one holiday, and this particular day it was too windy to launch, so we went on this boat trip thing, and it was I'd love to do that again. It was like the up and down feeling, and it's really you've got to hold on tight. It's just wow, it's really amazing. Went really fast and up, Love to try that again. We'll have a go with driving. And
Well, thanks, Paul. All of these amazing experiences we've all had a go at doing it. It just goes to show that disability does not stop us from experiencing new sensations and new exhilarations, and sometimes these experiences do make us feel alive. So, has anyone else done any weird and wonderful experiences or anything that you think, you know what, anyone should have a go at that, regardless of your disability or anything like that you'd like to share, that you can recommend?
Hi Mark, it's Sue here in Scarborough.
Hi, Sue.
Hi. I haven't tried it myself, but here in Scarborough we have a boat that does days out, and it's called Wet Wheels. And I know that they take people in wheelchairs, and they also take VIs. I haven't spoken to anyone yet who's had the experience, but I don't know if Paul from Able knows of them or has come across an adapted boat. And certainly the wheelchairs are allowed in there as well. And I think they get quite a buzz. They go out on the open sea. They operate out of Whitby, and then they come down to Scarborough and go out of Scarborough.
Yeah.
Have you heard
Yes.
of them, Paul?
I have. In fact, that's the company we deal with, a guy called Jeff who started it way back when. It was the blind driving of them that I wasn't sure of, that I need to check. But yeah, they're very good. And it's just, I mean, obviously, because you've got wheelchairs in there, the boats are quite big, but they've got huge engines. So they do motor.
And so does he come all around the country then, Paul?
No, they're all different. It's a charity, and they're all different sort of franchises of the charity dotted around the country. I think there's 8 or 9 of them around the country, because Jeff's based down in Solent, and there's a few based around the country. And I'm fed that, yeah. So there's some everywhere. But yeah, they're very good. I haven't done it myself, but we have some. The people have done it. Again, because it's a charity, I mean, they're a charitable charity, but they don't want flooding with people, because each different franchise, the individual owners only work on certain days and things like that. So,
right. So it's a franchise company. I didn't realise that.
Yeah, it's like a franchise charity. The whole Wet Wheels is a charity, but there's different franchises of the charity. I'm perhaps using the wrong word there. But they're all individual. They all run their own boat.
Right. Okay. Right.
So they all have their own bookings and different things like that.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I think so. Paul, I've got a quick question. Do you work with organisations like iFly or Goes Orbin at all, or any kind of events that you don't necessarily need to go fast on, but it's still a great experience and a sensory experience as well?
Yeah. iFly, weirdly enough, iFly is going to be added on our list for conversations. I have a really good relationship with Jonathan, who's the commercial director at iFly up in Manchester. And again, they're brilliant. We do those. The part of the problem with iFly is that there's very little to be made out of every single jump. The margins are so small. But we're looking at creating individual days, and I've spoken to him about a Retina UK sort of afternoon where we get better rates and things like that. So, we get ridiculously cheap rates because they know that we can fully book it, and, AbleNet will fully book an individual day 4 or 5 times a year, because we also do the iFly at the O2 in London. But they've got issues there with their wheelchair accessibility, so we need to get somebody over there to do a recce on that. But as far as VIs go, indoor skydiving is brilliant. It's very freeing and very. It's just a weird feeling, actually. It's like skydiving without the potential that your chute can't open, isn't it?
Is that the same with the MK? That's something that we could look at. We're not us at Retina UK. We're not a million miles from Milton Keynes. It's something known as an iFly, and I think there's an indoor ski centre also in Milton Keynes. Have you ever branched out in things like indoor skiing and snowboarding?
Yeah. Again, indoor skiing is already on the list that we do, and it'll be iFly. They have 3 plus the O2, so it's Manchester, Basingstoke, Milton Keynes, and the O2 for the iFly. So if we do it, if we agree the deal that we've been discussing, then we'll have one of the days at Milton Keynes, or a couple of days at Milton Keynes, sort of midweek or something like that, to keep it a bit quieter. And then so that's the plan. And then it just sort of, it makes the rates will be ridiculously cheap then, and obviously we'll be able to get deals and things like that.
Sounds really good. Has anyone else got any? It's 5 to 8 now. I just wondered if anyone has got any final questions for Paul or for myself, or anything you want to know what's coming up at Retina UK. then please fire away. Right, well, before I leave you all, so you can all enjoy the rest of your evening, do a quick massive thanks to Paul from AbleNet.co.uk for joining us and partnershiping with Retina UK to bring our community living with inherited retinal conditions the opportunity to enjoy experiences like anyone else. So please check out the AbleNet.co.uk website under the Retina UK's partner page, or you can check out our website. Full details and everything will be in the follow-up email that will be alongside the audio recording as well. Just a few bits and pieces that are coming up and Retina UK. If anybody is interested in joining Valerie for the Edinburgh Episcopal Group meeting, that is on the 29th of March, and it's going to be at the Festival Theatre in Edinburgh. All full details are on our website, and that'll also be in the follow-up as well. We also have a couple of new Episcopal groups launching next week. We've got the Home and Garden Episcopal group to come and join me and Steve for that one, and also in May again me and Steve will be launching a creative arts Episcopal at the end of May. We've got a young adults Episcopal group if you're between the ages of 18 and 30, and please all come and join us for our annual conference this year in September, which will be on the 20th, and it's going to be at Regent's Park Holiday Inn on the 20th of September. So put that date in your diaries. Come and see the team and myself and Caroline all in person and hear what is going on at Retina UK. Also, a lot of you may have seen our sight loss survey is now out for you to complete in an array of different formats. Please, if you could take some time to complete that survey, just so we can shape the future of Retina UK to provide you with services and support that you need living with inherited retinal condition. If you would need support completing it, then call the office on 01280 821 334 and a member of the team will complete that survey. It can be done online, or we can send
Yeah,
you.
I was just going to say, is it online, this survey on the Retina?
It is. I think there is a page, and what I will do, Paul, I will actually it will be in the follow-up. So you'll be able to click on the link, and I think it's done via Survey Monkey, so you'll be able to complete it. So yeah, if anyone does need any further support, you can call our helpline on 0300 111 4000 and speak to a member of the team, and we can with anything that you need with. So, you're sorry, Colin. Go on, shoot.
You forgot to mention the Newcastle in 2 weeks.
I did. Shoot, I am so sorry, Colin. Actually, do you know what, Colin? Would you like to share what you are up to in Newcastle?
Yeah, so the Northern Alliance, in collaboration with Retina UK, we're having a new venue, which we're all very, very excited about, the Tyneside Irish Centre. So we start at 1 p.m. on April the 5th. The venue, we've went from having capacity for about 40 or 50 people to we can now get 150 people in the venue. We've got a buffet planned, we've got a lovely bar, we've got microphones, speakers, we've got karaoke, we've got 6 speakers, I think, on the day from all different walks of life, from scientists to people just talking about their sight loss to all different things. It's a great experience. We end up having a raffle, we end up having the buffet, we end up having raising money for Retina UK, like Heads and Tails. It's a great fun day out. We're hoping to have a big push. We're having lots of people there this time. We've had a lot of inquiry, and we're all really excited about it. And here's to the new venture. This is our 11th year. So, yeah, we're really excited.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Colin. I will put full details on how you can register for that, along with Colin's contact information once you've registered for it as well. It is a great event. We've been to it before. It's a great afternoon, which goes into the evening, and you don't necessarily need to live in Newcastle. The door is open for if you can travel to Newcastle. I definitely recommend you popping along and meeting Colin and the rest of the group and the speakers. So and I think if there's anything else that is coming up, I don't believe there is. But more information, we are constantly adding more information regarding peer group activity to our website, which I will put the link on, and any meetings that go on the website in the meantime. So I am going to leave you all now to enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Thank you again for Paul for joining us. It's so much appreciated.
Thank you.
And thank you very much to Caroline, who has supported me with asking your questions and telling me to hands up, etc. So thank you very much, Caroline. I'm Mark Baxter for Retina UK. Thank you so much, and we will see you all in June for the summer meeting for our national group. So take care, everybody. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
And
Bye, everyone.
see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Mark.
Colin.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye now.
Yeah.
Bye.
We hope you've enjoyed this Retina UK peer group recording. If you have any questions or queries regarding its content, or you would like to leave us some feedback, then please do get in touch. You can contact us via a helpline on 0300 111 4000, call the office team on 01280 821 334, or alternatively, you can contact us via email at services@retinauk.org.uk. If you are interested in creating your own peer support group and assisting Retina UK to grow our peer support group network and join our amazing team of volunteers, then please do get in touch by contacting us at info@retinauk.org.uk and speak to a member of staff to see how you can get involved. Thanks again for listening, and please stay tuned for more peer support group recordings coming throughout this year. Take care and all the best. Bye for now.